All right, hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be between TBCBM and WFZ here on Last Refuge. Crota could comment on peons mining gold, and it would be awesome. All right, look at these guys. Look at them. Oh, I must bow down in front of the haunted gold mine. Bow. All right, I don't know if that was awesome, but anyways, let's go ahead and break this down. This is going to be an Undead versus Undead mirror match. TBCBM versus WFZ. And unfortunately, I don't believe I cast this particular game, as it is going to be a Crypt and Crypt Fiends coming in from both sides. I am interested in seeing if it is going to be a Lich first versus a Death Knight in this one-on-one matchup. If that wasn't awesome, I don't know. You're asking a question. I bet Undead wins. Yes, I bet Undead wins as well. And in this 1v1 matchup. Now, what can we expect to see in a 1v1 matchup? 1v1 matchup, Undead versus Undead. The Death Knight generally isn't nearly as strong. What is going to happen in this game? Death Knight versus a Lich is a possibility. I know I cast one of those games yesterday. I thought I made sure not to cast the same game if this is one of the same games. No, last game I thought I knew which player was what. Anyway, let's go ahead and pull up the population tab. I'm a little bit confused, or at least not on tilt, off of my normal game so far, as we are going to be a Tomb of Relics, and we should be looking at a Death Knight. Is it going to be going up against a... Nope, Death Knight versus Death Knight. So I do know that this is not the same as yesterday's game. Now, Death Knight versus Death Knight, but really the main hero that's going to be dealing damage is the Lich in this matchup. The Lich is able to use that Frost Nova much more effectively, while the Death Knight adds mobility and healing power to the Undead army. In addition to that, the Death Knight's Death Coil obviously works well on clearing creep camps during the early stages, but since you can't Death Coil your opponent's units for damage, it just becomes some sort of healing ability. Crypt Fiend purposely pulling back all the way across over here, trying to get in some damage. You can take a look. That Ogre Warrior is going to come across. There is some damage there as it now pulls back. 52 points of damage, but this is all slowly just trying to do something with the units that you have. Crypt Fiend going to continue to attack right across here. Skeletal minions now making their way out as the Death Knight joins in on the fight. Death Coil quickly bringing down that one Ogre Warrior there, as there it goes. First one to get Orb of Corruption will win. I'm not 100% sure about that, but the Orb of Corruption is incredibly effective. Now, one of the big things to consider in this matchup, though, is the use of Rod of Necromancy, the use of Dark Ranger when your opponent is going for Destroyers. Destroyers literally just eat up skeletal minions by devouring them, and it is extremely effective and potent, since they're then able to deal more damage and splash damage. However, the Crypt Fiends are able to shoot those units out of the sky relatively fast as well. Destroyers are mainly used in this matchup to try and counter the Obsidian statues, and maybe the occasional Abomination that is a frontline unit that goes after those Crypt Fiends. Both sides opening up with that Death Knight. Items, Gloves of Haste, Ring of Protection +2, going up against a Circlet of Nobility and Ring of +2 as well. Trying to minimize all of the damage across multiple units as the Death Knight, Crypt Fiends, and Skeletal Minions now make their way off to the north. Okay, I'm out. Thanks, Oblivion Runner. Glad you can join me before you had to head out for work, as the Death Knight now looks to pull back here. All right, Null Overseer joining in on the fight. Skeletal Minions now making their way down. Null Wardens getting pushed back here, as you want to make sure your summoned units are the ones that are taking the majority of the damage. You want to minimize the amount of mana that you need in order to try and finish off all of these units. As you can take a look, there goes the Null Overseer there. Both sides trying to essentially steal experience from the other, making it more difficult for the Lich to get to that next level. Death Knight should be able to finish off this one. Forest Troll, High Priest in just a moment. You can see the attacks come across. There it goes. Death Knight gets to level 3 and is now going to make its rounds out. back across over here. This Death Knight going to be able to get to level 3 in just a moment. Should be using up a Death Coil to try and save that unit, and use the Death Coil a little bit earlier than it would have liked to, not realizing that unit is just an illusion. Alright, meanwhile, this Death Coil has taken a fair bit of damage. Gonna go ahead and pick up a Scroll of the Beast. In comes the engagement once more, as the Death Knight has to be extremely careful. Crypt Fiends, low on hit points. Are they going to be able to fight back? Is that, well, which units are actually taking damage, as we have a shift in position? Any blue units coming in from the top right will have to travel through red units, and vice versa. Actually, no, I take it back. No, they are actually fighting in their respective corners. WarCraft 3 server update in 5 minutes. Got any cookies to share? Really? I hope not. If they actually kick me off of the NetEase servers, I do apologize. There's not much I can really do. All right, Fat Pumpkin, thank you for the subscription. Definitely appreciate it, as we're taking a look at a Death Coil healing up a Crypt Fiend once more. All right, I don't know if that was a YouTube subscription or a Twitch subscription. Either way, thank you very much, Fat Pumpkin. Meanwhile, back over here, let's take a look. Death Knight still sitting at level 3. We are teching to, well, tier 3 already, as the Lich is 3/4 of the way out on both sides. The timing of this mirror match is uncanny, how similar both of these players are. It's like they're trying to build and execute the same exact strategy, as they're both sitting at 36/40 supply. Units now making their way over here back to the top right. Death Knight, where is it going to go? Crypt Fiends, where are they going to run off to? As the units do want to heal back up. And now in the back of my mind, I'm just hoping beyond hope that I don't get kicked off from the NetEase servers. Death Knight, with that Unholy Aura moving around fairly fast. That Lich with additional plus damage, since it does have range. And, well, gonna try and get to level 2. No Frost Armor as of yet. I would have thought the Lich could have picked up Frost Armor here to be effective, as a Scroll of Town Portal now being used. Alright, Boulder onto the Lich. That Lich is gonna have a hard time. Is it gonna get healed back up? As you see a Frost Nova right in the front in this position here. Death Knight, is it gonna be able to get off a Death Coil to save the unit? Yes, it does in time. The Nerubian Tower trying to fight back all of these units once more, as we are taking a look at the Frost Towers here. Alright, let's go ahead and see how things are going to go. Alright, if it's Northrend, I'm fine, because I am not on the Northrend servers. Lich continuing to fight back here, as the Crypt Fiends are now looking to pull back once again. Death Knight does have a potion of greater healing. Is it going to be able to hold this spot here, as there's the death of a Crypt Fiend? Obsidian Statue going to finally make its way out. Death Knight is going to be in serious trouble, as it is taking a lot of damage. Death Coil saves a Crypt Fiend off to the north, as the red Death Knight is trying to just pull back all of these units every which way. Low hit point Acolytes still able to survive here, as a Frost Nova takes down a Crypt Fiend before it is able to teleport away. Alright, one Acolyte was lost there, but it's going to quickly be trained back up. And during that time, the Lich picks up... No pickup of the Orb of Corruption? Why wouldn't you? You have... Well, I guess you do not have the gold for it just quite yet. Meanwhile, back over here on the bottom left, Lich has picked up the Orb of Corruption. And, well, the blue player was the first one to pick up that Orb of Corruption. We'll see if that does end up holding true, that earlier prediction. Fat Pumpkin, I see your star by your name. Thank you for the subscription, as we're looking at the Forest Troll Trappers and the remaining units getting finished off on this creep camp. Lich should be able to finish off this creep camp without much of an issue. That -5 armor will completely mitigate that inner fire, as that Lich dealing 31 to 37 damage, double gloves of haste, allowing it to attack faster and spread that Orb of Corruption that much better. Death Knight, is it going to be able to do anything? Runs off to the north. Is it going to be a problem? No, it shouldn't be. Meanwhile, blue is going to be able to clear out a relatively difficult creep camp and is purposely pulling back into the spot. You do see the Dark Ranger in this location, and the Dark Ranger's main ability is mainly for silence as opposed to black arrows. That silence, the reason why it is so effective, if you are able to silence both the Death Knight and the Lich, you remove the main healing power, the burst heal power, and the main burst damage power of the Undead army. Skeletal Minion is chasing after all of these units right here, but it is not even getting bothered to get picked off. Meanwhile, red being forced to retreat and respawn, but does have plus 25 damage on that Lich. All right, I do not know who is ahead right now. That Lich, that damage at plus 25, minimum of 50 damage per attack, and that Lich is much more of a damage problem than you would originally think. Let's continue to fight back here. Destroyer is going to go ahead and hit into the air. Destroyer is now fighting back. You see some Devour magic going to go ahead and engage as the Obsidian statues are trying to save those units in the back. Unable to do so, though. 38 supply compared to 46. Frost Nova saving up some damage units as well. As you can take a look, the cold tower is causing a bit of problems. Death Coil saving units left and right, as we may see the death of Crypt Fiend there. Crypt Fiend, however, not getting focused there. Not quite sure why. Takes another Death Coil and gets saved. However, the Dark Ranger could be in trouble. Down to 37 supply. Is that Lich going to be able to be saved? Now trying to hide inside the base under the cover of the Nerubian Tower and this Black Citadel. Lich at plus 25 damage. Normal attack. Absolutely scary. But the attack speed of the opposing Lich also equally as scary with plus 17 damage. Very fast attacks on this Lich right there. Meanwhile, this Lich just has a normal attack. Is it what is actually more effective? I'm not quite sure, considering how everything is currently going. All right, Death Knight able to get off another kill there as all the units are backing up again. The Lich, just because of that Orb of Corruption, makes his auto attack absolutely scary. Death Knight now in a bit of trouble. Level 3 now on the Lich as the Death Knight now looking to retreat. Is the Death Knight going to be able to get off a Death Coil? Damage is coming across both sides. Death Coil trying to save the Destroyer as the Destroyer is back up into the air. Death Knight now holding back into this position. The Lich is actually in a very forward position, taking a lot of negative armor, but with a Potion of Greater Healing, able to stick around. Surprised that the Potion of Healing has not been transferred to the Death Knight, since the Death Knight already has a 400 hit point heal for that Lich. Dark Ranger also has a Health Stone as well. So a Health Stone and a Potion of Greater Healing, Dark Ranger may consider transferring that Health Stone to the Death Knight, since it does give a little bit of passive health regeneration. Back down to the south, 46 supply compared to 50. Dark Ranger getting up to level 2. Lich will be able to get to level 3 after the next creep or unit falls on the opposing side. Skeletal Minion may still even be enough experience if the is within range, as the Skeletal Minion able to just simply run back down to the bottom side. Gargantuan Sea Turtle, -1 armor, taking bonus 6% damage across the board. Talisman of Evasion now onto that Death Knight. So the Death Knight, essentially, if you weren't sure about the math, I'll tell you again. Talisman of Evasion is essentially the same as Ring of Protection +3 when you average it out. If you don't know what I mean, take some basic business classes and they will explain it all for you much better than I can do while there is a break in the action. Gargantuan Sea Turtle getting finished off here. Lich at level 3. Death Knight at level 4. Dark Ranger at level 2. 4-3-2 going up against, I believe, a 4-3-2 as well. 4-3-2 as well. But the Lich is almost 4 and the Death Knight is almost 5. So that could be the difference there. No, experience is pretty much very even. Ogre Magi and Forest Troll High Priest and Forest Troll Berserkers will get finished off. There's some Bloodlust, which should quickly get devoured. How come that did not die? Not quite sure what's going on there. Could easily just turn around and finish it off. Instead, it will be able to come in here and run amok as the units and the ghouls are trying to get away. 47 supply compared to 55. Running and attacking from the inside of an undead base. This is actually rather scary, as you can take a look. Frost Nova, is that, yes, Crypt Fiend getting taken out. But who actually won out in that battle? Red losing a lot of acolytes, and not having a spirit tower did end up making a big difference. RSW90, you are so high right now. I hope that it is legal in your state. Otherwise, you are currently incriminating yourself. All right. Obsidian statues. Crypt Fiends now making their rounds once more. Lich, Dark Ranger, Death Knight. Heading back down to the south here. Lich, Dark Ranger, Death Knight also coming back down. 48 supply compared to 59. The economic advantage currently belongs to red. Army size advantage definitely belongs to blue. So anytime there is an engagement, like you see right now, the advantage belongs to blue. However, red seemed to have a little bit of a better opening position. Is it going to hold true, though, as the Death Knight is currently silenced? Let's continue to fight on this once more. Crypt Fiend going to get taken down. It went back in for a little bit more damage, and it ends up surviving just a bit as the fight is continuing to range on. 43 supply compared to 52. There goes another Crypt Fiend. And this is a strange point. The instant red kills another blue unit, blue ends up having equal economic advantage and also the army size advantage as well. Lich, wow, barely stays alive. That Lich was down to sub 100 hit points, but able to survive as the Death Knight gets to level 5. Blue somehow has only a level 4 Death Knight compared to a level 5 Death Knight of the red Undead player. The red Undead player also has higher levels as well. So this is, well, really not quite adding up as we're taking a look at the Forest Troll High Priest and the Forest Troll Berserkers getting finished off here. Economic advantage belongs back to red. You can also see a Shade now keeping track of the army. Lich gets up to level 4, plus 25 damage once more. That is still extremely scary. Meanwhile, back at the other end of the map, this Death Knight may get up to level 5. Level 5 Death Knight, level 4 Lich, level 3 Dark Ranger. And if that is the case, levels will then equal out, giving blue the distinctive advantage, while red has a slight advantage in the overall economy. All right, there is a Shade keeping track of all of these units here. Destroyers heading back over here to the top right side. 45 supply compared to 56. Acolytes looking to just heal or just haunt more gold mine. Haunt, down, up. All right. As red is perhaps expecting another bit of harassment coming in from the other side. All right, Death Knight does keep track of all of these units here. You do see Abominations joining in. Anti-Magic Shell, Banshees are in position to try and keep all of these units, the Crypt Fiends, alive and well. As you see a Frost Nova go down onto the unit there. A Shade is in position, and that's the reason how the Lich was able to get sight onto a Frost Nova to get a Frost Nova down. Shade is looking to back up once more. Are we perhaps looking in the Frost Worms? No, we are not. No Frost Worms as of yet, even though we have the Sacrificial Pit. Death Knight now making its way back down to the south. Is it going to be able to escape as we're looking at the units off to the north here? Crypt Fiends, Obsidian Statues, Destroyers, Banshees, all here ready to go. We are 17 minutes, 38 seconds into this matchup. And still no one with a clear, distinct advantage as of yet. Anti-Magic Shell, blue, is going to be able, should be able to press on into this location here. Dark Ranger, Frost Nova, quick onto some of the Crypt Fiends, but the Crypt Fiends able to absorb the majority of that damage pretty much in an instant. Frost Nova almost takes down a Shade there as a Crypt Fiend does get taken out. Anti-Magic Potion, not going to be enough. Dark Ritual right there as the Lich able to survive and retreat. Your ears, what happened to your ears? Am I too loud? What's going on? Obsidian Statues jumping into the air here. Are we perhaps going to see some Devour Absorb Mana? There you go. There's some Absorb Mana once more. Or was that Devour Magic? Cannot quite tell. Death Knight, Lich, and Dark Ranger now making their way to the bottom left. Red versus blue here. We'll see how all of this is going to be breaking down. Destroyer now making their way in from the south side. Wants to put pressure in. Only one Destroyer, 2 Obsidian Statues, as a Destroyer is also doing a bit of scouting. I am doing fairly well. Work went well, but I do have a lot of things to do, and I have a lot of volunteer work to do as well, in addition to studying for some of my classes in between all of the work that I am doing. Just a little bit tired, but still enjoying a good game of WarCraft 3, even though it is looking like an exact mirror match. Death Knight sitting at level 5. Meanwhile, Death Knight off over here, also sitting at level 5. All of the creep camps have been cleared out. So, well, this blue Death Knight cannot hope to get to level 5 unless he tries to engage his opponent. Now, you want to engage when you have some sort of advantage, where you know you can freely beat up on your opponent's base, forcing them to come home, or your units are in a better position. Because both sides are undead, fighting underneath Blight is actually a bit of a boost for the blue undead player. Dog stepped on the volume button and sound skyrocketed. Oh, wow. All right. I can't fix that. Anyways, 894 experience over 900 as the Acolytes now looking to haunt a new gold mine. We are about 2 minutes out from setting up an expansion. Do we see some... no haunted gold mine here. So red is pretty much going to be all in with this next push. Meanwhile, blue wants to try and live and fight another day. But blue also knows that, hey, for 50 seconds... I am not going to be able to mine any gold. There's a little bit of a transitionary period between when the first gold mine is depleted and the second gold mine is haunted. Anti-magic shell. The Banshees are all here ready to go. A lot of anti-magic shell. Once more, obsidian statues in the back, ready in the right position. You can see Orb of Corruption, -5 armor, taking bonus 27% damage. So bonus 27% damage is essentially, with that in this range, about 10 damage right there. So that is indeed high. Let's continue to battle this out. This army of green, green and red and green and blue, as skeletal minions on both sides are getting destroyed. You see a little bit of Devour magic coming across, a little bit of Absorb mana, trying to spread across all of that damage across multiple units. Devouring magic still, as the Abomination does get taken down. Death Knight, 64 supply compared to 69. Red versus blue. Death Knight continuing to try and finish off more units, as this Death Knight here is now ending up being surrounded, unable to do very much. Scroll of Town Portal is in the right spot. That Death Knight is it going to be able to survive long enough? Potion of Invulnerability now being transferred, as you see the Death Knight able to Death Coil save another unit. This one Death Knight, blue's Death Knight, ends up falling, and red now with the distinctive advantage if he can end up pulling back with all of these units in time. Low hit point Crypt Fiend. Is it going to get taken down? Yes. Right at the last moment. And as I mean last moment, a black arrow from the Dark Ranger was shot while it was in the air. The Scroll of Town Portal pulled them all away. The arrow hit. A skeletal minion appeared. And he said, hey, where's the rest of my army? Unsummoning some major buildings right now. That is the forced situation, as we are looking at a lone Acolyte, well, trying to haunt this gold mine. When destroyers devour enemy skeletons, they get more mana. Using Dark Arrow might be a mistake here. Yeah. Dark Arrow is probably not the good ability unless you are extremely effective with your Dark Ritual. If you're able to use Dark Ritual extremely effectively, and maybe even Death Pact at level 1 to try and heal your units while dealing damage back. All right, Crypt Fiend's going to get into position. A little bit out of spot right now. 61 compared to 59 supply. Death Knight in a little bit, in that front line spot. Death Knight is back into the game, but does not have enough mana to save anything here. High ground advantage for red. Meanwhile, blue is attempting to run away. Crypt Fiends are getting poked down, and at some point, if blue stands their ground, perhaps they'll be able to get a little bit of kills as well, but at what cost? Death Knight continuing their chase once more, and once this expansion goes, well, blue's main advantage will all be for naught. Acolytes getting picked apart one at a time. Skeletal minions getting, summoned right here, right now. Lich could easily Dark Ritual, get up to full mana in just a little bit, and should be able to land some even more critical Frost Novas. There goes the Haunted Gold Mine once more, as we could have perhaps a Scroll of Town Portal to head back home. All right. Death Knight now looking to back up again. Skeletal minions in that front line, absorbing a lot of damage. Crypt Fiend walks on out. Where is it going? It is going to the afterlife, since it is an undead unit. What is after the afterlife? I'm not 100% sure. So after the afterlife. Death Knight looking to finish off some of the remaining buildings here and saying, you know what? I know you cannot Scroll of Town Portal first. So who is actually going to win out? Death Knight. Oh, Blue's army being forced to retreat all the way back. No building to Scroll of Town Portal. Has to walk all the way back. And that is a essential problem right now. 5-4-3 going up against the Death Knight, who also does not have any Scrolls of Town Portal. Interestingly enough, both sides are just pretty much committed to this one fight. Tomb of Relics will get taken down once more. Is it about to fall? I do believe so. There goes a Tomb of Relics again. Obsidian statue could get taken down at the moment it pops out. And could it give level 5 to the Lich? Possibly, as the units are now trying to go back the other which way. All right, Obsidian statue is off over here. Is this going to get trained back up? No, it is not. Big damage all over. Lich sitting at level 5 now, could get more Frost Novas, getting more Dark Rituals as well, as it could easily Frost Nova a Banshee to try and finish off some of those units. Red with a 12 supply, or no, 8 supply lead right now, as well, losing a Crypt Fiend as well. I believe that Death Coil was just a moment too late, as the Death Knight of Blue is just rushing on in to try and finish off more. The evasion is actually making a big difference. 36 supply compared to 36. What's going on? How is things all of a sudden even again, as all the units are now looking to retreat once more? That Lich, plus 25 damage still with a Potion of Greater Healing, not going to be falling anytime soon, as we are now at 30 over 34 supply. Home field advantage should not be making that big of a difference for anyone. There's no towers, and both sides wants to fight on Blight. 34 over 50 supply. Are these units going to be able to survive? This one, Obsidian Statue in the backfield. Destroyer now gets brought back down to the ground. Death Knight. Well, Death Knight quickly gets taken down. Death Knight now sitting at level 5. Perhaps we will get to level 6 Death Knight. Level 6 Death Knights, however, often go for Unholy Aura level 3, as it is generally better for the Death Knight than, say, Undead Army. All right, Death Knight once more taking a lot more damage. Death Knight down to 108 hit points. Is it going to be able to survive? The Lich, if it just walks over and sneezes on this Death Knight, Frost Nova onto the other Lich instead. And now Blue is definitely in trouble. 30 supply compared to 19 in the end. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.